Mr. Beans was an odd sort of fellow, quiet, a bit clumsy, but with a heart as warm as a freshly brewed cup of coffee. He lived in a small, cozy apartment in the middle of the city. His only companion, a battered old teddy bear named Oliver. Despite the bustling world around him, Mr. Beans led a simple life, where the little things brought him the most joy. Each morning, Mr. Beans would rise at precisely 7:15 a.m. He would shuffle into his kitchen, his fuzzy slippers barely making a sound against the tiled floor, and prepare his favorite breakfast: a single slice of toast, lightly buttered, and a cup of black coffee. He had an old-fashioned toaster that popped with a dramatic bing when the bread was ready, and every time it startled him. But today was different. This particular morning, as Mr. Beans sipped his coffee and stared out of his kitchen window, he noticed something unusual. There, sitting on the window ledge, was a tiny, bright red bird. Its feathers gleamed in the sunlight, and it chirped a song so sweet it made Mr. Beans' heart flutter. He had never seen such a beautiful creature before. Excited, Mr. Beans tiptoed closer to the window, trying not to scare the bird away. He placed his toast on the counter and slowly reached for a camera he kept in a drawer for special moments like this. Just as he was about to snap a picture, the bird let out one final chirp and flew away, leaving behind a single feather. Disappointed, but still in awe of the brief encounter, Mr. Beans carefully picked up the feather and placed it in a small jar, adding it to his collection of curious objects. But something about that bird felt magical, and he couldn't shake the feeling that his day was about to take an unexpected turn. Later that afternoon, Mr. Beans decided to visit the local park. He packed his usual essentials: a book, a small sandwich, and Oliver the bear. As he strolled through the park, he found a quiet spot beneath an old oak tree and sat down to read. But as he opened his book, a strong gust of wind suddenly blew the pages out of his hands, and with them, the bright red feather he had tucked inside as a bookmark. The feather danced on the wind, swirling and twirling through the air. Mr. Beans chased after it, his arms flailing as he tried to catch it. People in the park watched with curious smiles as he darted between benches, bushes, and even a small fountain. Finally, the feather landed in the hands of a young girl sitting on a nearby bench. She looked at Mr. Beans with wide eyes and smiled. "Is this yours?" she asked, holding out the feather. "Why, yes, thank you," Mr. Beans replied, catching his breath. The girl introduced herself as Lily, and the two of them struck up a conversation. She told him how much she loved birds, and that she came to the park every day to watch them. Mr. Beans smiled, telling her about the red bird that had visited his window that morning. As the sun began to set, Mr. Beans and Lily parted ways, but not before agreeing to meet again in the park the next day to search for more birds. For the first time in a long while, Mr. Beans felt a sense of companionship beyond his dear teddy bear. That night, as Mr. Beans placed the red feather back in its jar, he couldn't help but think of how one small magical moment had led to a new friendship. He smiled to himself, already looking forward to tomorrow's adventure.
Want to hear more amazing tales like this? Hit the like button and subscribe for more adventures.